Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Parents Engaging Parents Beloved Community Check-in. My name is Erica Beverett, checking in from Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Just here to share with you some of the happenings with Parents Engaging Parents and also our engagement with the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. We're going to have our senior nutritionist and SNAP Ed nutritionist, I should say, Victoria Lotado, and she's going to share with us a little bit about the benefits of beans. So I'm going to definitely ask you to share because we actually will be having a few more events coming up in the coming weeks as far as backpack giveaways. So definitely just keep your eyes and your ears open. And of course, PEP's mission is to promote civic awareness and proactive community action based on the interest of parents and community leaders. So what I am going to do first is I'm going to have one of our newest community leaders, PEP leaders, powerful leaders, to come on stream with us. And I'm going to introduce you to her. And her name is Gabby. So hi, Gabby.
Hey guys.
So just tell us where you're from.
I'm from Trenton, New Jersey.
Okay, so from Trenton. So what's going on in Trenton as far as this coming weekend?
So this coming weekend we have our book bag giveaway, which we're so excited for. I love the direction that we took with this giveaway because we are promoting literacy by offering not only book bags and supplies, but free books for the kids. We're going to be having someone doing storytelling, and the best part is that we are located in Trenton Free Library. So it's open to the public and there's books everywhere. So I just love the fact that we're going to have, all of these people coming in, engaging with us. We're going to have face painting. Um, it's just going to be a good day. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to Samaje as well because
Yes, my
she is
partner,
a
Samaje.
partner. So shout out to you, girly. I hope you're tuning in and definitely sharing out
Yeah.
there in Facebook land. Definitely excited to see how things turn out. I know it's going to be great. I know
Yeah.
families are always willing to engage with us in Trenton. We had always had a great big turnout in Kingsbury Towers. Shout out to Miss Dot. She is our
Yes.
CEP community leader, and we're definitely keeping you in our thoughts and our prayers. Um, so with that, let's do this. Let's get started with Victoria and bring her on screen. So Victoria is gonna come on. Hi, Victoria. How are
Hey,
you this week?
Victoria.
Doing great. How is everyone out there? How are you, Erica? How are you, Gabby?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for asking. I'm very excited for today's lesson. We're kind of going to touch base on a few of the items that we learned in one of our previous lessons of fiber. I don't know if anyone remembers, but we said that beans have high amounts of fiber. So we're going to take a little deeper dive into beans and how good they are, the benefits of them, and how easy they are actually to make.
Hey. Ooh, beans.
Oh, don't get me started with that. Yes, we all love beans, and I'm gonna just keep it at that because I'm a kid at heart. So, like, we all knew a little nursery rhyme back in the day,
That
right?
little stigma behind them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but let me just tell you something that if you just chew on a little piece of fresh ginger, that eliminates all of that.
Interesting. Good to
Never knew
know.
So, yep. So get a little bit of fresh ginger and you'll be straight. You don't have to take all those other over the counter stuff.
Thank
Let's
you for
get
the
to
little tip, Erica. You
that.
always learn something new.
Every day.
Good evening, Noble. And no worries. We're so glad that you're here and able to tune in with us.
Welcome, welcome, Noble. And then Erica, whenever you're ready, if you wouldn't mind going ahead to share that presentation. Thank you. Awesome, awesome. So as always, we always like to remind everyone that we are a part of the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, where we practice our end justice for all, where we do not discriminate on age, race, national origin, gender, political belief, religion, etc. We do not discriminate, as always. And as I mentioned before, welcome to our, what is this, our eighth lesson? Our eighth lesson on beans. It's fantastic being with y'all for 8 weeks. I'm very sorry I was unable to be with you last week, but I heard you guys had great conversation with my colleague Ashley. She's wonderful, and I'm glad I left you guys with someone as fantastic as her.
Wow, yeah, she was awesome.
I'd love hearing that. I will share that with her. Awesome, awesome. So,
oh yeah, okay, we got a jokester over here, so I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to put it up there. Yes, Dexter, we're gonna get you. Yes, the more you eat, the more you.
That stigma behind them, they're coming. It's coming around. Alrighty, so as always, our program is made possible from SNAP-Ed's Healthy Pantry Initiative, and through this initiative, we're able to prevent the Just Say Yes to Fruits and Vegetables, in which this curriculum teaches healthy eating skills and builds confidence in shopping and eating healthy on a limited budget. SNAP-Ed is funded through the Nutrition Education and Obesity Prevention Grant Program in the Healthy Hunger Kids Free Act of 2010. And New Jersey SNAP-Ed is administered by the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Family Development, and implemented by the New Jersey Department of Health, Division of Family Services. That's a mouthful. And as always, we are a partner with the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. And if you need any help accessing food, finding a food pantry nearest you, finding a soup kitchen nearest you, please visit our website at cfbnj.org/find food. We are always here to help. And with today's agenda on beans, it's going to go as followed. We're going to have our little bean lesson. We have a fun little activity for you guys. We're going to share a healthy recipe, have some time for some questions and answers if we don't address them at the time, and then a short survey. So as always, please feel free to throw out your comments, throw out any questions that you guys have. We'll be glad to answer them at any point. We love having a conversation with everyone. So please feel free to provide those comments, have a conversation with us. We are fun to talk to. So let's go ahead and get started. We always have our icebreaker. So I do have 3 questions for everyone today. So the first one is, what kind of beans do you cook with? What are some of your favorite dishes to make with beans? And have you ever tried any dessert with beans? Erica, you're muted if you're talking.
My son was just walking by because, of course, I ask everybody, please get your dinner before I start. And yeah, so they came down as soon as I started. But anyway, so the kind of beans that I like to cook are usually the red beans. I usually like to make that in my rice. That's like my go-to. Awesome. And then, of course, a lot of rice. So then the other main thing is cook up rice. So in a Guyanese family, we make what we call cook up rice. So it's got like the black eyed peas, coconut milk, lots of different spices. We like to put like fresh thyme and all kinds of stuff in there, lots of garlic and onion, and usually a piece of meat, or you can make it without meat. So usually like a smoked piece of meat. But yeah, that's what beans go in mostly in my household.
Delicious. And thank you for sharing a Guyanese recipe. I always like hearing new recipes and something different to try.
Yes. Well, for me, I don't eat beans much, but when I do, I love it in rice and peas. I'm Jamaican, so rice and beans. Yep. I would say other people call it rice and beans, but I call it rice and peas. It's the red peas, but it tastes so good. And then in tacos or like a taco bowl, I love either what is it, the pinto beans or the black beans.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time that I'll do the beans.
So now
Yeah.
you ladies have mentioned like meals and like regular side dishes. Ooh, D James, I see your comment. You like black beans and your favorite dish is chili. I'm gonna have to second you on that. I love me
Mm-hmm.
a chili with some beans. I can't just limit it to one bean though. I like to throw in multiple kinds of beans into my chilies. Some kidney
Mm-hmm.
beans, some black beans go a long way and makes it feel nice and hearty.
They do.
So as I was mentioning before, I know that you guys mentioned like meals, side dishes, but have you guys ever tried any dessert with beans in them?
Hmm. I see a couple of mentions of a dessert, and that was a bean
No.
pie.
Bean pie.
Delicious.
Where would I get that from?
There's
Girl.
recipes to make it yourself. I was
Mm-hmm.
intrigued by it when I found a recipe for the first time and decided to make it, and it's very delicious.
I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
take you
Bean
up on
pie.
that because I like to try foods.
What I
Yeah.
can do is I can share the recipe out with Erica, and then you
Mm-hmm.
guys can give it a try in making it.
Yeah. Di James says bean pies also. I've
Yes.
never had any other. Yeah, I've never heard of any other dessert. I see Samaji. I think she's doubling back on her favorite dishes. She said, "I love chili as well, and rice and beans. Never had dessert with beans though."
Interesting. I love rice and beans. Chili is always a staple. So for myself, I didn't go over my answers. For
Mm-hmm.
myself, I do not discriminate against beans. I will eat any kind of bean that is put in front of me. I will be gladly to eat them. Beans are the only reason I think I could ever become a vegetarian or vegan.
Mm-hmm.
And some of my favorite dishes will include I love beans in my soups, my chilies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Italian girl in me likes a pasta fagioli with some beans and pasta, delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I even like
That sounds good.
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
bean salads or bean salsas are really delicious as well.
That's a good vegan dish, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to up my skills because I know that's coming for me soon. So that's a
Yeah, I think
good
we're all kind of trying to walk into that world a little bit.
yeah.
I definitely don't want to go the route of like buying a whole bunch of vegan stuff that's just like frozen. I want to do like the real food.
Some fresh stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I've only ever had, well, I've had a few desserts with beans, one being the bean pie, but I've also had black bean brownies.
Oh,
Fun fact,
interesting.
they taste very delicious. That chocolate masks the healthiness of the beans in there. So it's not really as healthy, but it definitely gives a nice, healthier dish versus having just regular brownies with that high amount of sugar in them.
Yeah, yeah. I would definitely try that.
Yeah, they're delicious. I highly recommend them. Again, I can share out a few different recipes with you, Erica, if you want to share
Yeah, that'll
them
be great.
out with our participants that are joining us today. There's many great recipes out there, especially on our JSY website. You can find many. My Plate has great ones as well. And another great resource is eatfresh.org.
Mm.
Very many recipes. You can look up by cuisine. You can look up by the different fruit or vegetable. Many different ways to look up whatever you are looking for.
Okay.
Interesting.
Would anyone else out in our virtual world like to join in on our icebreaker questions?
Hmm.
As you can see, they're up on the screen and they consist of what beans do you cook with? What are some of your favorite dishes you make with beans? And have you ever tried a dessert with beans?
Hmm. Smaje says pasta is another fave. You know what? I have been seeing pasta made out of garbanzo beans, and I tried
Yes.
them. And I don't know if I overcooked it, but it didn't go too well. But I'm gonna try it again.
Mm-hmm.
So it was made with chickpeas. They
Yes,
make
it's a
pasta with
great
Oh,
source for.
I love chicken. I forgot that's a form of peas. Yes, that's my
yes.
favorite peas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
chickpeas is really good.
chickpeas are garbanzo beans, and they're
Mhm.
used to make hummus. That might be a
Oh
little hint for
no.
later on, my friends.
Yeah.
Would you get it fresh, or that's the only way? I've never bought it like fresh. I've always bought it from a restaurant, so it was cooked.
So you're speaking of the hummus, right, Gabby?
Yeah, well,
The
just
beans,
the
baked
chick,
beans.
the peas itself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you can utilize either canned or dried chickpeas, and we'll go over the different methods in order on how to use them later. I'll
Yeah.
teach you guys how to properly soak your dried beans to make sure that they are cooking properly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, there are so many more options out there to bypass the traditional pasta, which is super helpful. And I think it was like Ronzoni, the brand
Mm-hmm.
that had that. I found it in BJ's and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try it just to see if I could transition over. But I think I overcooked them.
For all of my friends that are out there, the Italian in me is just reminding everyone that the side of the box with those instructions give the best cook time for your pasta. So always follow those cook times because each pasta is made
Mm,
differently. So
Yes,
right.
different cook times. So you can't just judge it off of, hey, it's been in here for this long. Let me go ahead and try it and take it out.
I do that.
Yeah.
I do it off
Mm-hmm.
of.
Yeah,
Do
I'm
not
the
be
taste
Try
tester.
it.
disrespectful. The
I'll be like,
best.
Taste testing
just
gets you in
need 5 more
trouble.
minutes. I'll be like, just need 5 more minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. All right. Looks like nobody else is chatting.
All right, that's not a problem. We have plenty of opportunities for everyone to give a little conversation in today. So let's jump into our lesson then. Oh, I've eaten many
True.
bean pies. I do enjoy eating a lot of beans with my diet. I do eat a lot of fresh beans from the market, or I do soak the beans at times. Awesome. That's fantastic to know, Noble. Thank you for sharing. Bean pies are actually very delicious. I'm in the background, I'm trying to look up a bean pie recipe to share out with Erica, to give to you guys out on Facebook and Zoom. Just bear with me as I'm currently teaching and going through our website that
Wow.
I
I
mentioned
think.
before. However, so our bean basics. Beans are actually considered a part of the vegetable group, and beans are naturally fat free and cholesterol free. And because of their high protein content, the USDA also classifies them as a protein source. So, as you can see here on our My Plate, it is
Mhm.
purple for our protein and green for our vegetables. So you're kind of getting it's one of those foods that double as two options for our food groups. So when we're thinking of trying to create that My Plate meal, you already have two right there with your bean serving. And I may have mentioned this earlier, and I know I mentioned it previously in a few of our classes, but beans are very high in fiber. And as a reminder, fiber is very important because it helps lower blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol. It also aids in our digestive tract and keeps you regular. Remember, I used a broom as kind of like an analogy of what the fiber does. It helps sweep away all the items that we don't need in our body. And lastly, fiber also helps keep you full so you don't overeat, which also helps with weight loss. So remember, we watched that video, that little experiment with the two slices of bread. One was a whole grain, and one was a white bread. It used some seltzer water as digestive. And when you pulled the white bread out, it kind of crumbled apart immediately. But that whole grain bread stayed nice and stayed together, didn't break apart, had no issues. It could be torn, it could be tugged, won't tear, squished up, kind of like was like a sponge and it wrung out. So that kind of aids with what that fiber does in your body. It helps you stay full longer. So you're not going to be hungry an hour or 2 hours later looking for that snack. It's going to be sitting right there, digesting at its own rate and helping you feel no need to continuously eating. And again, aiding in that weight loss.
Mhm.
I need to make sure I'm taking notes.
Not a problem. But always remember that us as adults, we need 25 grams of fiber daily. And when we're adding our fiber to our diet, start slowly. We don't want to just charge your body with immediate fiber. Start increasing your fiber daily. And remember that foods that have high amounts of fiber will include fruits in that outer skin, vegetables the same in that skin, lots of fiber, nuts, seeds, whole grains. Remember those whole grains, how to find that true whole grain is you have to be that detective. Look at that ingredient list and make sure that first ingredient says whole to make sure it's actually a whole grain. And then lastly, beans like we're reviewing today. And keep in mind that foods that don't have any fiber will include meat, chicken, fish, eggs, and milk. So beans are really that great source of protein for our vegan and vegetarian friends, which helps aid them in completing that My Plate meal. So as you can see on the chart on the right, excuse me, it has our types of beans, the fiber content found, and then that daily recommended value. So remember, 25 grams of fiber is needed each and every day. Our navy beans for a cup of beans has about 19 grams. Split peas has about 16 grams. Lentils, 15. Pinto beans, 15. Black beans, 15 grams. And then chickpeas, 12 grams. So that's a lot of fiber right there alone, kind of accounting for your daily fiber intake.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have any questions before we move forward?
No, I think we're good to go.
All right, not a problem. Alrighty, so there are many. Hi. Good evening. Welcome. So there's many different ways that we can use beans. Whenever we're utilizing canned beans, it's always important to make sure that we are cleaning off that top of the can before we go ahead and open it to remove any dirt, debris, germs. And then when we do open it, to make sure that we drain those contents and rinse them off as well. We always try to recommend that you incorporate low sodium or no salt added beans.
Mm-hmm.
You can simply go ahead and add those yourself. And there's already some salt being added to it. So it's just more of a matter of flavor that you're trying to utilize.
Yeah.
However, we do need to plan ahead when we are utilizing dried beans because they do take a process, and we'll review that next. Lentils, black-eyed peas, and split peas do not need to soak before using them, so they're ready to go whenever. However, a good majority of our other beans do need to be soaked properly. So in order to soak your beans, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. When you go ahead and open up that packaging, prepare your dried beans by sorting through them for tiny pebbles, any strudel beans that you don't think you'll be eating, and kind of just review what they look like. You want to go ahead and just rinse them one more time before you go ahead and soak them, remove any of that dirt or debris that could be on there. And then next, you're going to soak your dried beans. They always need to be soaked. There's 2 methods. You can, for both of them, you do have to boil some water. For the first one, you're going to boil water. Let the pea, go ahead and place the beans inside of that, turn off the heat, and let them soak overnight. And then there is the shorter method, which involves just letting your for the boiled water, adding your beans, letting them come to a simmer for about 2 hours, cutting the heat, and then just letting them soak for another 2 hours. So it's about a 4 to 6 hour process for that. So it's pretty simple. However, you do need to plan ahead to utilize them. Yeah, and then as always, after you do soak your beans, it is important to cook them as well. So you want to drain that soaking water and rinse with fresh water. Typically, when you're cooking with like a colored bean, like a black bean or a red bean, that water is going to have a funky color to it. So always recommend to drain that, rinse them off. And then to cook your beans, you cover your beans with fresh water and you let them simmer for an hour or 2 or until they're tender. Very simple, very easy. And dried beans are the most affordable beans that you can find. They are in typically a larger package, and they have a longer shelf life.
Right.
Yeah, when you buy them
To
dry.
preserve them more, would you suggest putting them in a glass um, container, like glass bottle?
Where they go. So
Yes.
when we
Huh.
are storing dried beans, I always recommend to remove them from that plastic. What you can do is you can place them in an airtight container, glass, plastic, whichever you prefer. And you want to place them in a cool, dry place because your beans might spoil if they do get wet.
Mm.
Dried beans can be kept in an airtight container for up to a year. Now, we just talked about cooking them. Um, After cooking them, you can actually store them as well. So, cooked beans can be stored in the refrigerator for up to 4 to 5 days. So, for example, even if you don't use that, canned beans do come cooked already. If you don't use all of those beans, you can actually just leave them in the fridge and have them at another time. Just remember that they can only last for 4 to 5 days. And then your cooked beans can also be stored in the freezer for up to 6 months. However, before freezing, cover the cooked beans with water to prevent any freezer burn. So just add some water on top of it, just so they don't get that freezer burn, like I mentioned. Gabby coming
Interesting.
ahead with her questions, ready to go. She wants to know everything.
What's going on with these beans?
I was
Gabby will be incorporating more beans after this lesson into her
Yeah,
diet.
she
no, I
will.
am
That's
because
the goal. Like we need
I'm on
to
a
all eat
mission.
healthy.
Seriously, seriously.
That is
Yeah.
fantastic. I love hearing that. And then we just have some common dry bean cook times for you guys up here. So for black beans, they'll take after you do soak them. Keep in mind they are the dried beans. So after you soak them, your black beans will take 60 to 90 minutes to cook. Cannellini beans 60 to 90 minutes as well. Chickpeas, however, do take up to 2 hours to cook. Great Northern beans are approximately 45 minutes to an hour. Kidney beans take about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Navy beans, the same as those kidney beans. Pigeon peas take 60 minutes to cook, and then your pinto beans take about an hour and a half to 2 hours to cook. So always keep in mind your dried beans will definitely take longer, but they are a great resource for helping us save money as well. And I will never knock canned beans. They are a lifesaver, especially at a last minute decision for dinner. If you want to just add them really quickly, like I mentioned, keep in mind that they can last in your refrigerator for 4 to 5 days. So don't feel rushed to go ahead and eat that entire can in one sitting. For myself, I'm the only one eating beans in my household. So I will let my beans chill out in the fridge. I'll have them with lunch the next day. I'll try different ways to use them.
Yeah, you
Like
can eat
I
them with some
mentioned,
nachos.
some nachos, throw them in a salad,
Mm-hmm.
add them to a burrito. There's many different options for you out there. You can make a dip with them. You can add them to desserts like we talked about before.
Miss Elise, aw, she said she's not a bean eater. We're gonna reform you.
Maybe we'll change that after today's lesson.
Yes, Miss Elise. Sheesh. So I remember as a child, sometimes my grandmom would soak the beans, right? And they would actually begin to grow.
Yes. They'll start
I used to
sprouting
be so
because they are a
fascinated by that.
vegetable. It's kind of like your onion. When you let your onion sit out on the counter for too long in the
Yeah, you
sun,
get
it'll start
scallion.
sprouting. That is how our vegetables grow.
All right, Miss Elise, you're acting up today.
Alrighty. So typically we always like to review how much you should cook. So if you don't want to cook all of it all at once, there's different methods for it. So if you want to cook a 1 pound bag of dried beans, cooked, they would be equal to about 2 cups of beans. I'm sorry, 2 cups of dry beans. 1 pound, 1 pound bag of dried beans will equal about 6 cups of cooked beans. 1 cup of dried beans will equal about 3 cups of cooked beans. A half a cup of cooked beans drained will then equal 1 serving of beans. So keep that in mind. Half a cup is typically that serving. And then 1 15-ounce can of beans is about 1.75 cups of cooked beans. And then another can of beans is about 3.5 servings of beans. So it's kind of like that math and how it all keeps adding up for you guys and how it's easier for us to measure out that.
Yep. Ms. Elise, she said coming from the South, beans was everything. That's how you guys got your fiber in.
Exactly, that fiber. We love it.
And they fill you up too. That's what I like about it, because it fills you up. Oh, Gabby, we can't hear you.
I said bean burgers. Oh my God. Yes. I'm going to try this. I'm going to hook something up.
Yes, they are delicious.
It looks like a regular burger.
Yeah, it does look like a regular burger. So like I mentioned before, if you do wind up having extra beans, there's always different ways that you can incorporate them into your meals. For breakfast, you can add the beans to some scrambled eggs or an omelet with some salsa and cheese, make it kind of like Southwestern, very delicious. You'll just be having a higher amount of protein with your eggs, mixing with the beans. For lunch, you can make a sandwich spread with chickpeas and black beans. I highly, if no one's ever tried it before, try having a turkey and cheese sandwich with some flavored hummus, like a roasted red pepper. Gives it a great amount of flavor to it. And it's a lot better than any other condiment that you can add to your sandwiches. And then
I love that. Leave that mayonnaise alone.
Yes. And then for dinner, you can, like Miss Gabby mentioned before, you can swap out a meat burger for a bean burger, bean meatballs, or even beans and a pasta dish. Like we mentioned before, that chili, that soup, great sources for dinner, and you won't be hungry. I promise you. Give beans a try. They are delicious.
And then we see James said, I love a black bean burger with cheese. Yum.
Delicious. Yeah. I even like it with like a little bit of chipotle mayonnaise, give it a little spicy kick to it. Very delicious.
Sounds good.
And then Samaje said, definitely can get into the breakfast.
Yeah, sounds delicious, right? Does anyone else have any other recipes that they like to, that they think that they can incorporate more beans with?
We're big with I'm big with my family is big with the rice. So I actually just made that yellow beans and rice tonight. So that was dinner tonight. And I had I'm so proud of myself. I didn't have like a big plate. I had like a small serving.
Oh, the portion size lesson got to you.
It did. But I'm like, no, I'm gonna do this because I really need to. I think age, like I'm just not burning off whatever it is that I eat fast enough. So
my partner accidentally, when he went to ShopRite yesterday, I needed paper dishes. So I'm like, oh, get some paper dishes. We always get the 8-inch size. I don't know why the sudden change, but he decided to get 10-inch plates. And I literally looked at him and I was like, these plates fits inside these. And we're just like, okay, we got to use them now. We're like, we might as well have a buffet with some friends.
So so now it comes now you have to really like speak to yourself and say, okay, I'm not filling this plate.
Now I can only use half this plate.
Yeah,
definitely can get.
Anybody else have
any other suggestions on how to incorporate more beans, especially for our youth with that little nursery rhyme that's out there? Does anyone find any difficulties incorporating beans into their meals?
I think that sometimes it doesn't have any salt and it stirs people's taste buds to not want to continue to eat it. So if we do add a little pinch of something, does that affect the benefits it has?
It's still going to have the same benefits. Just be careful with your salt content. As always, that sodium can definitely cause many health effects. So just to be careful, watch that count, measure out your salt intake. Be sure to not add too much. You can also add so many different flavorings to it as well. Garlic goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
I know for my mom, when she makes beans, we always add some like sausage to it, so it'll give it that nice rich flavor.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, something like that
the beans
smoky
is
flavor
sounding
of a
good
sausage
tonight.
is great. You know what I like to do with my garbanzo beans is I like to saute them with like some curry powder and garlic and onion and just like pick at it as a snack.
Can you
And
make
it's so
that?
filling. Like wouldn't need to eat anything else. It's so
Eric, I'm coming to your house for a snack.
Yeah, please. Just let
Come
me try
on, I love to cook. Sometimes. Oh goodness. Okay, Miss Elise, here she comes with the traditions. Let's go. Ham hock, smoked turkey necks. Yes, yes, yes.
Gives it great
Yes.
flavor.
That sounds real good.
Think of like a split pea soup. There's always a nice like
Yes.
ham bone in there, giving it
Yes,
that nice
yes.
salty flavor.
Jamaicans, I'm saying it like that. I don't know why I say it like that. They cook red pea soup, which is it is so good.
It's like lentils, right? It's the lentils that's used. It's probably the lentil. You said red peas, so I'm thinking like
Yeah.
the red lentils. So it's probably those. Because I think
Yeah, I never really paid attention to the names, but I just know it's called red pea soup.
yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds delicious.
Yeah.
And so many different cultures can actually come together and kind of have like a similar type of dish, like we just mentioned. And there's many different ones, like in Portugal, a bean soup with like pasta and everything. It's called feijoada, but you can kind of find the same thing in Italy with that pasta fagioli.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So as we're kind of like talking about it, there's many different ways that we could use the beans, like we did mention. You can use them in soups and stews. Does anyone here do that? I know we did mention a few different types of soups and stews. We mentioned chili, that red bean, that split pea, the pasta fagioli. Does anyone have any other stews or soups that they can add them to?
Yeah, I mean, I usually just put everything in a chicken soup. Like chicken soup does not just have to be chicken and noodle. I put everything but the chicken soup in there. Like, so I will I will like dump a can of beans in there because I like that heartiness. And
I'm the
if my kids
same
don't
way.
like it, they just won't like, they'll just ladle it out or whatever they do.
And what you could even do, I know I mentioned it earlier, like if you're having some children that are having difficulties eating those beans or peas, what you can actually do is you can actually just blend them up, and it kind of makes like a thicker like consistency of it, but it's more liquidy, and it's easily masked by all the other foods that you could be cooking with. So it's a great way to incorporate more protein into that diet. Little fun fact.
Miss Elise looked it up. She said they use red kidney.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Miss Elise.
Red kidney beans.
Thank you. I was just about to ask my mom too.
They know these like red lentils. Actually, so like when the pandemic first hit, right? Like you know how we didn't know like how food was going to be and stuff like that. So I went out and I bought a lot of dried beans. I actually still have them.
And they last a long time.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh gosh, okay, I gotta really use them instead of going to the store and buying cans. But the cans are so easy. So you make your tacos with beans. I usually skip beans a lot of times.
It tastes so good with the tacos.
It does. Yeah. Which kind of beans do you like more?
Pinto or black. It depends on what mood I'm in. I do like the black, I would say, better with my spiciness. But pinto are also good to kind of level and balance out the spiciness when I do get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Maybe does anybody use baked beans and baked goods?
I know I mentioned those.
Yeah, those brownies, right? I'm captivated by that, actually.
Erica, I'm actually going to go ahead and share with you a recipe. It's on our eatfresh.org website for the black bean brownies. They're very easy to make. I highly recommend giving them a try if you want to share that out with all of our participants.
Definitely. Okay, so this is the recipe for
The black bean
black
brownies.
bean brownies.
And I'm trying to find that black bean.
Is there chocolate in it?
There should be there. So the recipe is some cooking spray, a can of black beans, 3 eggs, 3 tablespoons of canola oil, a teaspoon of vanilla, some brown sugar, some cocoa powder, and then chocolate chips that are optional.
So the cocoa powder and then the chocolate chips are in there for that chocolatey taste, I guess. It'll probably make it super rich and moist, though. That's what I'm imagining.
They're really good. So I can't find any bean pie recipes on the websites that I use, but you can always I can only provide recommended websites to my participants. You can simply go online and take a look for a bean pie recipe. They're very delicious. And then let's see, I can also find a recipe for a bean burger.
Yes.
Yeah, we usually see those. We usually see those, I guess, at restaurants, but I've just never thought about really making it at home.
So here's the one. It's a black bean, quinoa, and sweet potato burger with chipotle sauce.
You said music to my ears, sweet potato.
So Erica, if you want to go ahead and share that one out as well.
Okay, black bean quinoa. Oh, okay.
Very delicious. And I am a sucker for anything chipotle sauce related. So like a chipotle mayo is really good on them.
Yes.
And then the great thing about this website with eFresh, in the directions, sometimes they will provide you with pictures of what the process is supposed to look like. So there are some pictures for that black bean burger. Just so you guys can see what it's supposed to look like. I know I always like to see like a little video or something, so I know I'm making it correctly.
Right.
Have the right consistency.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Even in the other one that you just showed before, that one you can actually see like the different colors of the beans. I guess it's like different ones that are in the mix from that picture. So that was pretty interesting.
I can promise you can probably trick someone. Make a nice little batch. Don't tell anyone that there's beans in them. And then when they ask for that recipe, you can be like, oh yeah, they're black bean brownies.
I'm open. I'm gonna do that to my son. He's gonna watch the college. At that point, he's gonna eat anything.
I'll try.
That is fantastic. I love playing like little jokes, little tricks on people. But that is fantastic.
Why not? If it's healthy in the long run.
That's the main thing that, because I'm 27. I just know when I'm like 40, I just don't want to be going through the health issues that I see a lot of people going through. And I'm just saying, if the information is here to me now, I should probably try to take it in, do something.
Yeah, it's really all about bringing that action, right?
Yes.
It's all about simple and little modifications. Like I always say, we're here to make those recommendations for you, but we're never going to tell you to not enjoy something that you love. It's like drinking a soda. We recommend that you drink it maybe once a week, not every day.
Right.
But
moderation.
You're still getting that moderation, that acceptance of it. It's like it takes time to finally start enjoying the new way. It's like if you've ever experienced it, it's like not adding sugar to your coffee. It takes some time to get adjusted to the flavor, or not having sweet tea and having an unsweetened iced tea. You kind of start preferring the healthier option over the unhealthy option, like once time starts moving.
Yeah, I definitely bless.
God bless you, Gabby.
Thank you.
I definitely can relate to that because at one point I was able to drink my coffee with no sugar, and I'm back at the sugar again. But you do get used to it, so that's I think I'm gonna, take those small steps, like you said, like just start scaling back, maybe because I do the 3 teaspoons,
Mhm.
but I'll probably start scaling back,
You
one
can
less,
even
one less
do like
teaspoon.
simple flavorings as well that are typically sugar free and have lots of flavoring. To this day I will never understand how they can turn caramel into sugar free when it's made of sugar. That's how you make
Sugar,
caramel.
yeah, it's
So
fruit
I will
sugar.
not question it, but I will gladly enjoy
Now
it.
we should question it, but you just got to be smart.
Yes, take a look at that ingredient list. Alrighty, so to move forward, we do have a little activity for everyone as always. And the instructions is I'm going to show you some common dishes, and you're going to select what bean is traditionally used in them. So try your best. There's no winners or losers. We're all going to learn something new today, hopefully.
Mhm.
Maybe you've heard of some of these dishes, and maybe you will try to learn a new recipe. Is everyone ready?
Yeah, y'all ready out there in Facebook world and YouTube world land?
The virtual world.
In our virtual world. So here we have some hummus. What bean do we think hummus is made of? We have A, pinto beans, B, chickpeas, C, navy beans, and D, lentils.
Erica, don't answer.
Boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna sing the theme song.
I'm gonna see the theme music.
Jeopardy.
Mm. Do, 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 do.
And remember, if you're answering out in our virtual world, please feel free to just choose A, B, C, or D. Oh, Miss Elise with that first response with B. Samaje, A. Okay.
What say you, Gabby?
I don't want to. Nope, this is for the community to answer.
Okay.
Someone answered
We
it
got
right, and I'm gonna
C.
let.
Hey, what could it be? I know it's not C. I know it's not D.
All right. We'll give it a few
A
more
or
seconds.
B.
So whenever I'm playing this activity, I always like to tell my participants to take a look at that color. Does the color associate with the type of bean that it looks like?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and give you guys a few more seconds and then we'll move forward.
Okay.
Alrighty, so the answer is B. Hummus is made from chickpeas or garbanzo beans, and hummus is a traditional why am I drawing a blank? Middle Eastern dish. It's used for dips. It's used as a dressing. It could even be used as a condiment. And there's many different flavors that you can make with your hummus. But hummus can also be made from different beans as well. But it is primarily made from chickpeas. So technically, Samaje was correct because there is a hummus. I actually have it in my refrigerator now. It is a buffalo hummus, and it is made from pinto beans.
That sounds good. That sounds like some buffalo chicken dip.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's
But like
delicious.
the more healthier version.
Yeah, it's very delicious. I highly recommend giving it a try. I actually purchased it at ShopRite. But these are recipes you can also make yourself. The ingredients are very simple. You just need some chickpeas or whichever bean you're using, tahini, and then seasonings, and a little bit of olive oil and whatever other flavorings you want to add to it. So for myself, I love a roasted red pepper. Hi, Miss D. How are you doing today?
Hi.
Like I was saying, I love a good roasted red pepper hummus. So I always have chickpeas and a jar of roasted red peppers available for me to be able to make it, and just blend everything all together. Very simple. The flavor, it's not a dish that you have to let it sit. The flavors immediately come together. It is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Who's ready for our next dish?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. So we have some refried beans. What do you think refried beans are made from?
I
Is
know the answer.
A, black beans, B, split peas, C, pinto beans, or D, fava beans?
Refried beans. Now, would you call that healthy? Because, like, isn't it refried?
So essentially your refried beans are being fried. You are frying them, so you're adding that extra oil to them,
Yeah.
adding that extra fat to them. So I wouldn't say that they're the healthiest meal or side dish that you can have. However, they are still a bean, so they're still healthy for you. I know I still enjoy them whenever I do have a
And
dish with them.
burritos.
Mm-hmm. And those breakfast burritos.
Yum. Ooh, that
Yes,
actually sounds delicious.
it is good in a burrito.
So we'll give you guys 30 more seconds to go ahead and enter in those answers. So again, your responses can be just the letter it's associated with. So it can be the A, black beans, B, split peas, C, pinto beans, or D, fava beans.
Okay, so Samaje says D,
Ooh,
and
fava
Miss
beans.
Elise says C for pinto beans. And I'm not even sure, because to me, they look like
I'll go with C.
C. They look like pinto beans to me.
Taking that hint and looking at that color, that is actually the correct answer. They are made from pinto beans.
Ah. You
However,
Maj, I wish you was on here.
however, your refried beans, they are typically of a Hispanic origin. They can also be made with black beans. Essentially, you're just mashing your beans and frying them. So they have that. To me, they have like a mashed potato type of consistency, which I like.
Mhm.
I love it in my burritos. I love it as a side dish. I love it over rice. They're very delicious. And I did see that we did have a response for those fava beans. Fava beans typically are known as the broad bean, and they're not really refried much. They're a thicker type of bean, but they are delicious. I highly recommend giving them a try. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't ask if everyone was ready, but it looks like we're gonna be ready.
Okay, we're ready.
Alrighty. So the next one that I have is a minestrone soup. Now this
That
one.
looks good. Oh my
Mhm.
god. I can't even see the bean in it. Oh, I see it. You have to zoom in a bit.
Go ahead, Erica. If you want, you can go ahead and make it a full screen so everyone could take a little deeper look into it.
Okay, let's see. There you go.
Alrighty, perfect. So, what do we think our minestrone soup is made with? Its answer could be A, cannellini beans, B, black-eyed peas, C, chickpeas, or D, lima beans.
I know I see some zucchini in there. That looks good.
Yes, honestly, minestrone soup is very delicious. I love adding all those different vegetables to it as well. Even some cheese on top. I will always add cheese. But just looking at it, also, it looks like there's some celery, some tomato. There's most likely some onion in there to give it a little extra flavor. It's an Italian dish, so there's definitely garlic.
I don't know what bean that is.
I think.
Oh, I see it. I see it. I'm gonna go.
Okay, so Miss Elise says A.
I'll go with D.
Cannellini.
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 Fun fact, another name for a cannellini bean is also a white bean.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a hint for anyone.
So I think I see the bean in there.
Mm-hmm.
But Gabby said that I can't answer.
You can answer in your head, Erica.
Sheesh. Okay. All right.
So I saw that Miss Elise provided a response. Ooh, Mr. Fraser is saying B with black-eyed peas.
Okay.
We'll give you guys a few more seconds out in our virtual land.
Let's see. Anybody else out there that's going to answer? Oh my gosh. I just remembered my one of my childhood best friends. She used to always be so mad because her mom would cook with beans all the time.
Yes.
And it's like I remember, I guess, like as we got older, she was just like, I just want my mom's cooking all the time. And I'm like, yeah, like we didn't even know how good we had it when we were kids, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How big is the bean? Really, Miss Elise? Yeah, I don't know how
So
big is the bean.
before I go ahead and give you guys the answers, let me help out Miss Elise a little bit. So if you take a little closer look into like the center right underneath all of the vegetables and the cheese, you can kind of see some white bean look like objects.
Mm-hmm.
And they are actually, the answer is A, cannellini beans. So this is what they look like.
Ah, okay,
So
Miss
Right.
Elise.
like I mentioned before, cannellini beans also get the name of white bean. As you can see, they are white.
Uh-huh. See, but I thought I saw a lima bean in there. That's what's messed up.
Okay, I can see that. There's a lot of green.
I saw a little
here.
greenish kind of color on the side. Maybe
Mhm.
that is a white bean. Okay, never mind.
I fooled you, Erica.
You did. You
Alrighty.
did.
Is everyone ready for our next dish?
Yep, I'm ready.
Alrighty. So our next dish is succotash. What do you think succotash is made with? Could it be A, navy beans, B, chickpeas or garbanzo beans, C, split peas, or D, lima beans? And again, this image is a little further away, but try to take a little deeper dive. Like, what are the colors that you see?
So it's a lima bean. That's what I was thinking.
I agree with Miss Elise. I'm gonna go with a lima.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with a lima too.
We'll give everyone else a quick second to go ahead and take an opportunity to respond in our virtual world as well.
Samaje agrees as well. She said D. I think because we kind of know the recipe.
I've actually never heard of this.
Not because I'm
snack.
seeing it. Because I see a lot of quinoa in there. I don't see anything else.
Mm-hmm. So just doing a little background on it, I always like to provide a little fun fact with all of our beans. Lima beans are also known as a butter bean, a double bean, or a Madagascar bean, or even a wax bean.
Yeah.
Little
We
fun
put
fact.
that in our culture
Yeah,
too.
Miss Elise said
butter
D, and she said I've had it.
My mom cooked it with oxtails.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Mm.
Well, a little background on our succotash is that it is a dish made with corn, some type of bean. We're not going to go ahead and give away that answer yet. And other ingredients can be added to it, like onions, potatoes, turnips, tomatoes, bell peppers. Gabby, you mentioned oxtail. It can also be made with beef, pork, and even sometimes some like to add okra to it. It's one of those dishes that's packed nice and high with lots of vegetables, high in protein, a very delicious source.
Miss Elise just said it's so delicious.
It is. It's very good. I highly recommend finding a recipe and trying to recreate it at home. I don't know about you guys, but looking at all these dishes is making me hungry and anxious for dinner.
Yep, that is for sure.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and give away that answer for everyone. Our succotash is actually made with lima beans.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes. And I believe this one is our last example. Who's ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go. Our bean pie. I knew I saw bean pie earlier. I wasn't losing my mind. And it wasn't looking for recipes. However, what do we think our bean pie is made of? Is it A, pinto beans, B, kidney beans, C, navy beans, or D, chickpeas?
What do you think your bean pie is made of? That's what I was thinking, Miss Elise. Miss Elise says A.
Hey, interesting.
Pinto
I
beans.
can see that the color kind of resembles a pinto bean.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? What do you think, Gabby?
I'm going to. I don't know. Because I'm just thinking, like, maybe somebody can make a chickpea pie or kidney bean pie, but I'm going to go with kidney bean because of the red that I see in there.
Okay, Samaje says C, navy beans.
How about for our friend who was with us previously and said that they had a bean pie?
Yeah.
What do we
Yeah, that was
I'm sorry, I can't remember the name.
That
there.
was
Miss Di James.
Dion
Yeah,
Williams.
Dexter. Dexter, what they make those bean pies with? We need to know. I'm gonna. I was in a cross between the A and the C.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A and C. Samaje said navy beans.
Mm-hmm.
Gabby, I know you said kidney beans. Miss Elise, I know you said A, pinto beans. So are we just ruling out chickpeas for this pie?
Chickpeas pie.
So a little background.
So.
What was that?
I said, I guess so.
So a little background on a bean pie. It is a sweet custard pie that's filled with a mashed specific type of bean. It's typical, but it's made with sugar, eggs, milk, butter, and spices. And some common spices that could be incorporated include vanilla, cinnamon, and nutmeg. And I like to think of my bean pie kind of like a sweet potato pie.
Yeah.
Has lots it's made with a vegetable. It's very delicious. You just got to add some sweetness to it, and it's very delicious. And that with that sweet potato pie, the texture immediately resembles that pumpkin pie. So it's kind of like the same thing, and it's just like that bean pie as well.
Nice.
I actually always kind of turn up my nose to bean pies, but I might be open to try it.
Excuse me.
It always takes 3 tries, is what I always like to tell my my youth students. Try it 3 different times and see if you like it, because those 3 different times it can be made differently. So to never rule out or say you dislike something until you've had it.
True. You heard that, Miss Elise? Okay, I don't think anybody else is going to answer.
That's not a problem. So our answer for bean pie is navy beans.
Samaje was right.
Good job, Samaje.
You are the winner.
Alrighty. So I hope everyone was able to see or want to try a different recipe out there with beans. There's so many different recipes. I always love this little activity with my adults as well as my youth program participants. It's always so much fun. Loving to see all the different guesses that are out there and how they could. There's honestly numerous answers that could be made.
There really are.
But as always, the next portion will be for our recipe. And the recipe for this evening is red beans and rice. And if Erica, you would like to go ahead and share out that video with everyone.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Chef Amy, and today I'm making red beans and rice, a quintessential Louisiana dish that's healthy, inexpensive, and delicious. Spray a skillet with some cooking spray. Add chopped onion and green pepper and saute over medium heat for about 5 minutes. Next, let's add garlic powder, 2 cans of diced tomatoes, and a can of kidney beans. Reduce the heat to low and simmer for about 5 minutes. Once it's ready, scoop it out over a bowl of cooked brown rice. Pair with a side salad or a steamed vegetable, and you've got a complete meal in under 15 minutes. Call the family to the table. Everyone will be ready to let the good times roll after enjoying this delicious dish. For this recipe and more, visit USDA's What's Cooking website. Enjoy.
She made it look real good.
Really easy to make.
It took like 5 minutes.
Well, everything's always sped up in our video.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
But something very easy to make. I think the thing that will probably take the longest to cook is that rice. But very delicious recipe, great side dish, or even a great meal if you would like as well.
Okay. So I know, of course, you do have your survey.
Yes, as always. I know we're a little pressed for time. We did go over by 5 minutes. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to throw out those questions while we go ahead and just review moving forward. But as always, for more resources and for more information, you can visit our website at jsyfruitveggies.org. And always, you can visit choosemyplate.org as well for more resources. We always hope that you guys stay safe and stay healthy. And we do have our survey, as always, that we like to share out with the community. Please take the time to complete it. It is anonymous, very simple to complete, and all this information really assists us with trying to help our participants seeing what they would like to learn, seeing what other resources can be provided within your community as well. So we do have our QR code up on the screen. And Miss Erica, if you wouldn't mind sharing out that link to our virtual land friends, it'd be greatly appreciated if you guys could take the time to complete it.
All set. So go ahead and tap the link. It's there in the comments, and it's going to take a matter of a few seconds.
Yes.
Not very long.
A little more background on the survey. There are, I believe, 11 or 13 questions, and it should not take more than 5 minutes to complete. Honestly, it should take a little less. And like I mentioned before, we greatly appreciate you guys taking the time to complete it. And as always, we appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. Thank you for listening to my voice yet another week. And I look forward to seeing you guys again next week.
No, you love it. Thank you. Thank you, Victoria. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into Parents Engaging Parents Beloved Community Check-In and engaging with us for this evening. I need to shout out 2 organizations, and that is Angela Cares. Angela Cares, we had a fantastic weekend with you last week. Thank you very much. We were out there giving out book bags and school supplies. She had so many resources out there. So if you missed out, you missed it. Also, a big shout out to Senator Troy Singleton. We were there on the 30th with him in Riverside, out in Burlington County at Riverside Elementary School. Thank you so much, Jen, Mike, and all the team that came through and helped out with distributing the book bags and school supplies. We engaged lots of families out there, and we really appreciate your partnership. So have a great night, everybody. If you don't want to forget to log into PEPNJ.org and please hit the donate button. Everybody, we're going to see you this weekend because we're going to be up and down the state. We're going to be in Newark. We're going to be in Trenton. We're going to be in Bridgeton this week. Okay, with this weekend. So Saturday. So look out for all the flyers that we're putting up on our Facebook and Instagram pages, and join us. Check us out. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night. See you guys
Bye,
next week.
everyone.